All right, so this is my trip to the historic Lusk House. Now, the Lusk House is actually located in the Turkey Run State Park, which is actually in Marshall, Indiana, just like a little, up around Indy, kind of like on the southwest side area. And this is actually a home that is like right in the park itself. Now, a little bit of history about the Lusk house and the family itself is Salmon Lusk. He was actually from Vermont, and he was actually awarded this plot of land for his time serving in the Battle of Tippecanoe under the President William Henry Harrison. Mr. Lusk, he built this. He built a log cabin in 1822 on this plot of land, and he was actually living there with himself, his spouse, and 8 kids in a log cabin, basically, out in the middle of the woods, because it's surrounded by woods. And he did this until 1841. He lived, just imagine that, 10 people in a log cabin, for nearly 20 years. But they were pretty self-sufficient family. They kind of lived off the land. They really didn't need a whole lot. They had what they needed, and that was pretty much it. Now, him and his sons, they actually built the bricks, and they did a whole lot of woodworking with the walnut that was around them, and they actually used all of this to build the brick house that is actually standing there. That is the Lusk home, and this guy was very, very good with living off the land. He even dug a coal mine to heat up the home, which is pretty self-sufficient. I mean, that's pretty badass that you can just build all that stuff, you and your children, your family, and you can just basically live off the land like that. That's pretty badass, especially back in the 1800s. They didn't have like all the the automated type tools and the power tools and stuff like that back then. They pretty much did that with a lot of hard-ass work. It's pretty wild that this man actually did all the stuff that he did on his property with just all the shit that's around him, and that's it. Now, back in 1826, he actually built a grist mill with a foundation of stone-cut stone. The water wheel was actually powered by water that was diverted by a dam, because where this home is, as you can see on the video, it is right beside the river or the creek. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but it is good size and it has a lot of current. So it's pretty cool how he done it. And as you can see, the bridge actually goes over, and this property is right beside Sugar Creek, which is a pretty decent size creek, and had plenty of current, plenty of water that's just passing through all day long. So this is actually a very good, smart, idea that he had. And there's actually remnants of this mill that is right beside. You have to go down a little ways, but there's actually remnants of this place that is still there. I'm actually standing on it at one point, and so you can still see remnants of what he built almost 200 years ago. And with all this going on, there was actually a small little settlement that developed around the Lusk home and all of the stuff that he was actually doing. But unfortunately, on New Year's Day, back in 1847, there was a massive flood and kind of destroyed a lot of the settlement that was nearby. Fortunately, their property actually survived, because they were up pretty high. The flood actually washed away every building that was in this settlement. It was just wiped completely out, except for the Lusk home, mostly because they were up high. It'd really take a massive flood to knock the house down. And plus, it was made of, brick and, stone and everything. So it was a very well-built home. Now, of course, whenever you go here, you can obviously go into the bridge. I walked into the bridge. Pretty historic little place. But the home itself, you can't get in unless you jump on the tour. Now, they do tours of this place, and, certain times, and, it costs money. The day that we went, there were no tours or nothing like that, but you can actually go and look into the windows. You can see some of the insides, but that's really about it. Now, after John Lusk died back in 1915, the property was actually put up for sale. And Hoosier Veneer, which is a Indiana logging company, paid a little over $30,000 for that site. Now, of course, this is back in 1915, so that is quite a lot of money, for that time. Now, of course, this company paid a little over $30,000 for this site and, everything on it. Now, that was back in 1915. So, in today's currency, that would be just a little bit under $1 million. So, really, for what you're getting, I mean, it's not a bad price. Because it is a beautiful spot, very well built, has a lot of cool stuff around it. And as you can see, it's surrounded by woods, but you have this massive opening that is going all around, the home. And then, of course, you have the woods just completely surrounding you. Bucket. Now, shortly after, Richard Lieber and the State Park Commission, actually, they tried to get this property from this logging company. And they actually raised $40,000 to buy this property from this logging company, mostly so they can preserve it. I'm not sure what the logging company was going to do with it. I'm sure they probably bought it as an investment and just maybe flip it and make some money. I'm not really sure what their deal was with it, but State Park Commission was actually able to buy it, and that is how this home came to be preserved and part of the Turkey Run State Park. And that was actually in 1916 whenever they actually made that deal and they bought the property. This parcel of land, the Lusk land, was actually the first piece of land that was actually a part of what became Turkey Run State Park. And of course, with all the woods, the nature, and everything that's around it, they just started building out more and more and more. And, and of course, I mean, in the state park, there's some old abandoned coal mines and, different stuff like that, caves. You have a lot of really cool stuff here. So, most popular state park in the state of Indiana. You have to experience this park at least once. It is phenomenal, and then the tours, look up the dates and the times and all of that stuff for the tours. And then you can actually, go inside this home. You can see the amazing work of Simon Lusk. Him and his family, they really did a lot of amazing things out there with what they had. And basically little to nothing. And they survived and they built what they built. I mean, that's very impressive. Especially back in the 1800s. The Lusk home in Turkey Run State Park and the Lusk Bridge as well. So whenever you go on this path, you actually come to the Lusk Bridge, you cross over the bridge, which goes over Sugar Creek, which kind of runs straight through, the state park. And then you can keep going up the trail and you can visit the Lusk home, or you can actually take a left, kind of go down a little ways, and you can actually continue the trail. But definitely recommend stopping in here, going straight, go visit the home and just check it out. Just walk around the property, kind of like what we did, and just, check out all the cool stuff that he did. There's not a whole lot left, but the home itself is very, very impressive. And there's a little bit left up there, but you got to imagine, they built this home with what they did. They built a log cabin as well. They built a sawmill or a grist mill, really close to it. They did a lot of stuff. So, very impressive. Go check it out. And, that's it for the Lusk home.